Hey crew, it's Patrick again. How's it going? Welcome back. Appreciate you showing up and watching this happy thing. We are almost to 200. We're like 190, I think, on the subscriber count right now. We'll keep a little closer eye on that since our goal is 200. I don't know what we'll do once we get there, but we'll think of something. I hope. If someone would leave me a comment on what to do when we get here, it would be very appreciated. Today I'm going to be doing some housekeeping and a little bit of world building. I'm calling it session 5.1 because as I was writing things up for what we did in the last actual play video, I discovered that we had actually done a couple of different scenes rather than just the one that I thought we had done. So we're going to make sure everything is caught up, and there have been some little things here and there that I wanted to tweak. Most of this is completely unnecessary. What most people are going to want to do with the game, what they need to do, because, well, sometimes I make life hard on myself. But we are going to do that. I don't think this is going to be very long tonight, but I did want to get a few things taken care of. The first thing we're going to do is a little bit of ship maintenance and adjustment, because I noticed as I was getting a couple of things written down that the friendship class in the captain's log rulebook. Here we are. Okay. It says it's scale 4, but if you look at like the Janeway or the Kirk class right below it and add up the system numbers, you get 39 for the Janeway and the Kirk class. If you add up the ones on the friendship, you only get 38. So I dropped a quick note to Aaron Pollier, the ship guru, who created all these things, and he says scale 4 may have been a typo. He's going to double check his notes and get with Jim. But I am going to go ahead and treat that as if it actually were a typo, and the friendship is actually a scale 3 ship, which would make sense because you got a scale 5 ship, you got a few scale 4s, but you don't have a scale 3, and he always tries to kind of include that range, I've noticed, when he can on something like this. So we're going to act like this is, in fact, scale 3. So, did that. I've made a note in case everything turns out to be actually correct. We'll figure out where that last system point goes, and we'll fix it again. I'm not proud. In the meantime, since it's scale 3, we should only have 3 ship talents here. So, since the Seneschal is mostly being used for diplomatic types of missions at this point in its life, I want to keep the diplomatic suites, obviously. I've always liked the advanced sensor suites, and for what we're doing, I like extensive shuttle bays because we may have to host conferences and things like that. So that leaves the advanced shields. So I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to highlight that in my notes so that I know it's there in case I have to put it back. And let's go to the ship sheet, which is on Captain Marshall's character sheet. Okay, here's the ship. Change that scale to 3. Just... I'll leave that space open for right now. Like I said, in case I need to put it back. If it turns out that scale 3 is correct, I'll just move those up. But for right now, I'll just leave that empty space there to make life a little easier. Alright, now, while we're on the ship, this, to me, very clearly has the multi-role explorer mission profile attached to it. Now, you're sitting there going, but Patrick, we don't use mission profiles in Captain's Log. This is one of the things that you do not have to do. What I am about to do is not something that has to be done, but it makes sense for me personally. So I'm going to do that. Let's get into Utopia Planitia for a second. And stop here at the space frame mission profiles. And if you start looking at the departments in most of these, you'll find that they favor one department over another. The Merchant Marine favors engineering and medicine. The entertainment pleasure ship favors medicine and command. But if you look at multi-role explorer, it's 2s all the way across the board. And if you go back and look at the departments on the friendship class, you'll see that every space frame is going to give you 3 points in departments, and everything else is provided by the mission profile. So in this case, the friendship gets a +1 in con, engineering, and science, with the multi-role explorer mission profile providing the other 12 points in that 15. And that's how I know it's multi-role explorer, because multi-role explorer is the only one that is quite so even. Everything else favors something over something else. Now, what I want to do is, since the Seneschal is doing primarily diplomatic missions, I want to change the mission profile to this one, the Strategic and Diplomatic Operations profile. Unfortunately, 4 of the 6 are still 2s, so we don't really have to do much. The only 2 that change for the for this particular mission profile is that 1 point comes out of con and goes into command. Instead of 2 and 2, you have 3 and 1. So that would make that command 3 and con 2. Basically, it swaps it out because you've already got a bonus point in con. So I'm going to do that. Again, I want to emphasize, this is not something you have to do. It is not something that is in the Captain's Log Rulebook, but with the interchangeability of ships and characters between Captain's Log and regular Star Trek adventures, it's something you can do, and it's something that I personally am choosing to do. But if you just want to keep the one book, you don't have to touch the ship stats. You don't have to do a thing with them. This is 100% me personally, for my personal benefit on that. So I am going to close Captain Marshall's sheet because we are done with him. I'm going to save the changes that I've made. And we're done with Utopia Planitia, so I'm going to go ahead and close it as well. As I started working on the second scene, I started doing, there's interaction with some of my NPCs, my bridge crew. And I have personally decided, for no reason other than I feel like doing it, to work on character sheets for the characters that I've interacted with so far, especially those who have done more than just say, I captain. But the NPCs, I'm not going to go the whole character generation process for them. Really, all I would need to do is copy down a few key stats in my notes, but, you know, I don't get to play that much. So when I get a chance to work on characters, I'm going to do it. So, we're going to go through, and the characters that I interacted with the most so far, we are going to very quickly, using the creation and play rules, fill in blanks on their character sheet. We're going to start with Commander Tano. He's a Bajoran. He's a commander. And he is a first officer. Don't have any particular focuses for Commander Tano. Alright, so we're going to use the creation and play for these characters because it's quick and easy. So the first step is to assign character attributes. 2 10s, 2 9s, an 8, and a 7. Alright, well, Commander Tano is a big old tough guy. I'm going to put one of the 10s in fitness. And I think I'm going to put the other 10 in daring. He's got a lot of gravitas. Give him one of the 9s there. Give him one of the 9s in insight, which puts... I'm going to put the 8 in control. No, really. In insight. Let's try that again. And a 7. Alright. Here are a Bajoran's attributes. +1 control, +1 daring, and +1 insight. So, going back to the commander's sheet, +1 control gives him a 9. +1 daring gives him an 11, and +1 insight gives him a 10. Alright. Basically, we've got 8 points to put into 2 disciplines. One of them is going to be his primary discipline, and I imagine the other one is going to be wherever he came from. So, I know he's going to get... I'm just going to go ahead and give him a 5 in his command. There we go. Which means I got 3 points. I think Tano came up from security. So I'm going to put the 3 there. Choose a single value. Well, alrighty then. I have no idea. Let us, therefore, since I don't know, I'm going to roll for Commander Tano. And that sounds like something a security officer turned XO would do. Number 19, willing to sacrifice myself to save my crew. Sacrifice myself to save my crew. At that point, Commander Tano's done. We didn't do anything that would have generated a focus in my mind, at least not yet. So we are going to... I'm not going to worry about focuses right now. Other characters came up with focuses, but Commander Tano's done. I'm going to close him out and save it. Next up is the Chief Engineer, who we never actually see on screen, but we do talk with him a bit. Lieutenant Commander Devar. He is Kelpian. And he is the Chief Engineer. All right. Gonna make his engineering a 5. And his science a 3. All right. He is a smart man. A great deal of control. Has a great deal of gravitas. Daring is not his strong suit. He's much more by the book kind of guy. No, not 109, just a 10. Okay. There's that much. Let's get him a value. Now, he did create a focus while we were working on him. He was able to reroute a bunch of power, so I'm going to give him EPS. What's a good word? Do I want to use? What word do I want to use? Oh, I'm just gonna say he's good with electro plasma systems. Stums. Alright. And a single value. I'm just gonna choose this one because this one sounds good and he believes in getting there and doing things with his men. So I'm going to choose number 6. Good leaders get their hands dirty. And Mr. Dovar is, for the time being, complete. Close that. And save. Next up is our Chief Science Officer, Lieutenant Commander Chadwick. She's an Illyrian. Oh wait, you know, I'm not done with Dovar. I forgot to put his species modifiers on his attributes. So let's... Kelpians. Oh good, they're on the same page with the Illyrians. I can keep it right here. Control, fitness, and insight. Control. Fitness. And insight. Now we're done with Commander Dovar. She's the Chief Science Officer. I'll give her a 5 in science. I'm going to give her a 3 in medicine. That's just one of those things that I feel like a lot of Illyrians would know something about. She is also a Lieutenant Commander and Chief Science Officer. I know what her value is already. Curiosity is its own reward. Curiosity also gets people into a lot of trouble, but she's got to focus. Ship sensors. She uses those a lot. Alright. She's the smartest person in the room. And she's gutsy. Maintains some control. One 9, 2 9s, 1 10, 2 10s, an 8, and a 7. Okay, we've got that. Let's actually get her modifiers in place. Daring, fitness, and reason. Oh yeah, I don't see any trouble coming from this. But there is Commander Chadwick. Which brings us to Tevis Jal Brock, our Chief Flight Controller. It's a Tellarite. And he's young. He just got promoted to Lieutenant Commander. So he is probably not quite as advanced as some folks. I'm going to give him a 4 in Con. And I'm going to put a 4 in Engineering. Probably his family worked up from there. So I'm going to give him those. He's experienced. And I've kind of established in some of the dialogue he's a little bit of a hotshot pilot, but he's still learning. And I'm going to give him a 9 and a 10 in daring. Nine in fitness. Let us track down. Whoops. Tellarites. Okay. control, fitness, and insight. Okay, there's that. E2 has a focus, since he can identify the ship that falls out of the time vortex that we're tracking down. He's a starship expert. Let's see if there's any of these values that work, or if I'm going to have to come up with something. Okay, I found something online that I think will probably fit with his personality. Like you stole it. There is Mr. Gelbrock. And finally, we come to Lieutenant Commander Sarah. Now, she is half Gorn and half Saurian, and I'm not quite sure which is dominant. So I am going to roll a die. I never really established that in my head. So I'm going to roll a die. And odds Gorn is dominant, and evens Saurian is dominant. It's a 14. So her Saurian side is dominant, but there's not, just a tremendous amount of conflict. She just takes after whichever parent was Saurian. Chief of Security, she is experienced. Ship Tactical Systems. So I'm going to give her 5 in security and a 3 in science. She's shy. All right. Let's see here. For her species, we can choose from either Gorn or Saurian. Gorns get daring, fitness, and reason. Saurians get daring, fitness, and reason. Okay, well, this is easy. That works out. Daring, fitness, and reason. Oh, I like that. I like that because she's very shy, but once you get her to a certain point, it's probably not a good thing. Number 11 here, push me too far, you'll see my ugly side. All right, and there we have Sarah. All right, getting back into the notes real quick. We're almost done here, folks. It's like I said, this isn't going to be what you call an extensive episode. All right, let's see here. Did create an advantage during the one scene. I've put the link for Act 1, Scene 1 in the description. And as soon as I get Act 1, Scene 2 actually posted, we'll get that one up there too. Our female synth, I gave her a name, and I also promoted her since her station has other ships assigned to it. She is a captain, I decided. But I am going to get her scene finished up here shortly. I have not created stat sheets for the Secretary of State or for Captain Pilgrim, but maybe we'll do that next time. Who knows? But with that in mind, I'm going to save that while I am thinking about it there. And guys, thank you so much for tuning into another one. I hope it won't be so long till the next one, but you know, sometimes real life gets in the way. If you want to support the channel, there are links in the description to get PDF copies of Captain's Log at the at DriveThruRPG. Those links do get me a little bit of store credit at DriveThru, which helps support the channel. There's also direct support links in the description as well. Until next time, guys, live long and prosper. Thank you so much for coming by. Hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends. Leave me comments if you have any questions or anything of the sort. And remember, 200 subscribers is coming up, so we should do something. Let me know what you think we ought to do. Until next time, thanks for coming by. Catch you next one. Good night.